Good morning and a pleasant welcome to Kear News Line, 45 minutes of news, views, and analysis on Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global community. Today is Monday, January 13, 2025, and I am Mariama Jalloh presenting. These are the headlines. President Joseph Walker attributes lack of cooperation from Western culture on its social corporate responsibility to bogus agreement signed by the past government. LEC newly appointed interim managing director promises to end prolonged power outage. Thomas Gonkowun says revenue protection remains his key focus. University of Liberia President Dr. Lady Mapayan outlines first 100 days plan, vows institutional reforms and improvements. And away from Liberia, the Austrian Foreign Ministry says a female citizen has been taken by known assailants in the military-run West African country Niger. Details of these plus other interesting developments are packaged in this news. Stay tuned as we take a short break to be right back. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us. President Joseph Walker has attributed the lack of cooperation from Western Coastal to fulfill its social corporate responsibility to the agreement signed by previous governments with the mining company. Speaking to scores of citizens in Bombay County over the weekend, the Liberian president said Western Coastal does little or nothing for the people of Bombay but continue to use road to transport iron ore due to mineral development agreements signed with previous governments. He blamed the past government for signing an agreement with Western Cluster that has no significant benefit to the people but has rather plunged the country in backwardness and hardship. The Liberian chief executive attributed that his government allowed the iron ore mining company to operate after its license was suspended due to the agreement that was signed by the both parties. President Walker, however, disclosed that his government will review the agreement and is considering asking the company to discontinue using the road at the end of its agreement in June. The newly appointed interim managing director of the Liberia Electricity Corporation (LEC) has promised to end prolonged power outage in Liberia and ensure to community will experience power failure exceeding 8 hours. The Gokon outlined plans to combat power theft, improve energy supply, and implement key infrastructure projects. Speaking at a press conference in Monrovia over the weekend, Gonkon disclosed that the anti-power theft program has already reduced commercial losses, adding that it will be expanded with stricter penalties and the installation of 3,000 new meters to curb illegal connections. He announced ambitious projects to meet growing electricity demands, including 600 to 700 million hydroelectric dam in Bond County, expected to generate 150 to 200 megawatts, with half of the funding from the World Bank. Gonkun asserted that the Mount Coffee hydropower plant will also be upgraded to boost its capacity by 50%. He said LEC has set up a preparedness for seasonal challenge to address energy constraints during the dry season. LEC has introduced a dry season preparedness plan ensuring a combined capacity of 86 megawatts through local and imported energy. The newly appointed president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Laili Mapayan, has outlined her first 100 days plans to president of the university. Speaking during a recent tour of the university Fender campus, Dr. Mapayan emphasized the importance of light listening, learning, and addressing urgent challenges facing the university. In a statement reflecting her early days, Dr. Mapayan noted that when she first submitted her plan in July, her focus was to engage with all members of the university leadership and faculty to staff and community partners. She also committed to conducting a thorough tour of all campuses to gain a first-hand understanding of the prevailing conditions. However, less than a week into her tenure, Dr. Mapayan expressed an increased sense of urgency about several pressing issues at the university. Dr. Mapayan emphasized the importance of collective action, noting that it is essential to end the numerous challenges faced at the University of Liberia. At the same time, Dr. Mapayan expressed enthusiasm about the road ahead, promising to move rapidly toward institutional reforms and improvements, beginning with foundational initiatives and at revitalizing the university. Ball County Senator Prince Moyi has praised the Wakakun administration for its achievement during its first year in office. Senator Moyi noted that the UP administration's ability to manage and improve a challenged system inherited from former CDC government worth condemnation. Speaking to journalists in Bond County, Senator Moyi asserted that despite taking over a mess system, the administration has made significant progress. He named the increase in the national budget from 730 million to 880 million and the growth of the country GDP. The senator further emphasized that the government is focused on improving the lives of citizens by creating job opportunities and attracting investors to the country. Bomi County Senator Alex Taylor has disclosed plans of the Western Region Legislative Caucus to prevail on concession companies in the Western Region to address critical issues affecting citizens of Grand Cape Mount, Bomi, and Bapolu counties. The Western Region Legislative Caucus is a group comprising of lawmakers from Bon, Bapulu, and Grand Cape Mount counties to foster development in the three counties in the region. According to him, these concerns, when addressed, will foster development and help improve living conditions of citizens living in the Western region. Bome County Senator noted that lawmakers in the region will begin taking steps to address the concerns of citizens while they lobby with executive branch of government to implement key national developments under the arrest agenda. Senator Alex Tyler made these remarks when he spoke at an appreciation program held in honor of President Joseph Walker and First Lady Kwatumu Walker in Bomi County over the weekend. Meanwhile, the Bomi County Senator reminded President Walker of his 2023 campaign promises to connect major roads for the people in Suen Mecca district of Bomi County. The Commission General of Liberia Revenue Authority, Double Jala, has challenged LRA staff to target 1 billion United States dollars for fiscal year 2025. Commissioner General Double Jala urged staffers to improve their performance in 2025 to achieve an internal revenue of US 1 billion. He emphasized the LRA's determination to exceed the government mandated national budget targeted of US 880 million. Commissioner Jala acknowledged the significant challenges facing LRA, indicating staffing gaps, resources contents, and distraction from those he referred to as propagandists. Commissioner General Dogo Jala made these comments at the retreat of the intern Internal Audit Division and Legal Division over the weekend. He at the same time vowed to advocate for government to allocate to the LRA's 5% of the revenue collected by the authority. The Agriculture and Industrial Training Bureau has unveiled plans aimed at reviewing the curriculum of agricultural and vocational training institutions in order to standardize agriculture and vocational education in the country. The Director General of the Bureau, Abraham Billy, disclosed that this plan had intended to put curriculum of agriculture and vocational training institutions on equal standards with institutions in the West African region and erode public distrust in graduates of agricultural and vocational institutions. Addressing a press conference over the weekend, Billy added that the AITB has observed that in recent years, lots of organizations and institutions have developed their own guidelines, stressing the need to harmonize them. According to Billy, the ATB, which is the secretariat of the National TVET Council, said by President Joseph Walker, will shortly be communicating with members of the council purposely to discuss way forward in TVET sector, including the administrating of national tax for graduates of vocational institutions. Billy explained that the AITB is expected to implement its first plot project that will begin with at least 200 candidates of agriculture and vocational institutions in Liberia. The Register of the West African Examination Council in Liberia urging University of Liberia new president Dr. Lady Mapayan to adopt listening leadership approach, particularly in moments of confusion and decision making. Speaking in an interview with this station during the weekend, Delhi Goto advised Dr. Lady Mapayan to avoid hasty decision making and to ensure that all parties are involved during decision making process. He noted that the University of Liberia faces numerous challenges but expressed confidence that Dr. Mapayan's tenure could be successful if she listens to stakeholders and takes inclusive decisions. The White Boss further called on Liberians to be supportive to Dr. Mapayan, giving her all the opportunity to perform her role effectively. He also encouraged her to actively lobby for the institution to secure necessary resources and partnership for advance its mission. Monserrato County District 2 representative has presented his legislative report covering his activities in the first session of the national legislature, highlighting scholarships for students, humanitarian assistance, and projects in the district. Delivering the legislative report at the MVTC conference hall during the weekend, Representative Sekou Kane disclosed that due to his lobbying efforts, the national legislature has made an allotment for the completion of a public high school in his district. Representative Kane, who is also chairman and executive at the House of Representatives, added that during the period under review, he personally spent over 5,347 Liberian dollars for assistance for 356 students in and out of the districts. According to him, several funds were spent on humanitarian assistance for less fortunate people, social organizations, and communities for development in the district. The young entrepreneur and CEO of the most famous Too Easy brand, Abubakar Jalloh, has emphasized the importance for Liberians to build confidence in fashion design, regardless of age or personal style. Speaking on our Kear sister program, The Chat Room, over the weekend, Abubakar encouraged young people aspiring to join the fashion industry to remain steadfast. He also urged fashion designers struggling to climb the ladders to consider collaboration, something he said has helped his brand grow. Abubakar Jalloh disclosed that his brand is currently in collaboration with local clubs including Shatta FC and FC Fasel, as well as sponsorship deal with other reputable institutions. In a way from Liberia, the Austrian foreign ministry says a female citizen has been taken by unknown assistance in the military-run West African country Niger. It confirmed the incident to AFP and said they were aware of the possible kidnapping of an Austrian woman in Adgez, which is 900 kilometers from the capital Niamey. The woman was reportedly forced into a vehicle by unidentified individuals in Fadas district at Jeza on the edge of the Sahara Desert, reported Reuters news agency. The victim, named Eva Gatmijes, is a development worker in her 70s and had lived in Niger for over 2 decades, according to local media sites. Niger has not yet commented on the incident. Info reported kidnappers showed up at MS Kadima house with gun and forced their way in. They did not take anything else, reporters said. Mr. Gazima is said to have run projects in the areas of education, health, women's empowerment, and culture. That's the bulletin of news. We are taking a short break to be right back with more developments. President Joseph Walker attributes lack of cooperation from Western Coastal on its corporate responsibility to bogus agreements signed by past governments. LEC newly appointed interim managing director promises to end prolonged power outage. Thomas Gonkoven says revenue protection remains his key focus. University of Liberia President Dr. Laili Mapayan outlines first 100 days plans vows institutional reforms and development. And away from Liberia, the Austrian foreign ministry says a female citizen has been taken by unknown assailants in the military-run West African country, Niger. Let's now bring you the voices of those making the news, starting with this development. President Joseph Walker has attributed the lack of corruption for Western Coastal to fulfill its social corporate responsibility to the agreements signed by previous governments with the company. Speaking to scores of citizens in Bomi County over the weekend, the Liberian president said Western Coastal does not little or nothing for the people of Bomi to continue to use road to transport iron ore due to mineral development agreements signed with previous governments. He blamed the past government for signing an agreement with Western Coastal that has no significant benefit to the people of the county. The reason we see the Western cluster is doing what it's doing. The government however, disclosed that his government will review the agreement and is considering asking the company to discontinue using the road at the end of its agreement in June.
We need to talk to support we anymore because without there is something happening in that report. We can no we can come even small reasons. So I just want to let you know that we are respecting the concession agreement, but up to the time that this goal will discontinue this group. Of course, driving from Singapore Creek to started constructing a new road, I will come here, I will go to Richmond, go straight to Woolworths. That is my recommendation.
The Liberian chief executive there speaking. The newly appointed interim managing director of the Liberia Electricity Corporation (LEC) has promised to end prolonged power outage in Liberia and ensure no community will experience power failure exceeding 8 hours. Thomas Gonkowan outlined plans to combat power theft, improve energy supply, and implement key infrastructure projects.
Different relationships, laws, subsidizing with the aim of protecting and automating critical operational One, the governance and financial process. This component focus on strengthening the corporation financial management system, refining business workflow, reinforcing governance structure, and ensuring transparency and accountability in operational efficiency. To strengthen the corporation governance, the interim management team has, for the first time in the history of the MC, initiated and established the governance, risk, and compliance GRC framework. The establishment of the governance risk framework was ensure alignment with strategic governance and effective risk management and assurance to the concerned statement. What is the basically the management has effective and audit is by the internal audit agency, i.e., to conduct a comprehensive audit of all elements of the national system processes to ensure that our corporation work through these best financial practices. Two, commercial and technical efficiency. This aims at enhancing revenue generation and protection. This is
The voice of the newly appointed interim managing director of the Liberia Electricity Corporation, Thomas Gonkowen, there speaking. The newly appointed president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Laili Mapayan, has outlined the first 100 days plans of president as president of the university. Speaking during a recent tour of the university Fender campus, Dr. Mapayan emphasized the importance of listening, learning, and addressing urgent challenges facing the university. In a statement reflecting on her early days, Dr. Mapayan noted that when she first submitted her plan in July, her focus was to engage with all members of the university's leadership and faculty to staffers and community partners.
It's impossible to do your job if you are worrying about whether you'll be able to pay your rent, afford food, get transportation, or pay your kids' school fees. So it helps the entire campus community get this right. Third, I plan to regularize UL's academic calendar so that it is predictable and dependable year in and year out and coordinates well with other institutions in Liberia and internationally. Students want to know when school is starting and when it is ending, as well as when commencement will be held. Students need to be able to plan, particularly when there are other opportunities waiting, such as jobs, fellowships, and graduate study. We hamper UL students' progress and peace of mind when the academic calendar is unpredictable, and I intend to fix this problem. Fourth, and don't laugh, I feel strongly about ensuring safe and well-functioning bathrooms around campus, with adequate sanitation supplies to support public health and the comfort and dignity of the university community. It is impossible to work or study when plagued by the call of nature. New bathrooms may not happen overnight, but I will begin working on it ASAP and keep it a high priority. All I ask of the university community, students, faculty, and staff is that you help by doing your part to keep things clean, healthy, and beautiful, which is a way of showing love and respect for our campus. Fifth, I will begin fundraising immediately. Starting with the contacts I already have in the States and around the world, I will start making asks to bring in the resources we need to accomplish our national.
The voice of the newly appointed president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Laili Mapayan. Bon County Senator Prince Moyi has praised the Bouaka Kun administration for its achievements during its first year in office. Senator Moyi noted that UP administration's ability to manage and improve a challenging system inherited from the former CDC government worth commendation. Speaking to journalists in Bond County, Senator Moyi asserted that despite taking over a messed up system, the administration has made significant progress.
I think they were lapses, but they were very great achievements during the past year. For the fact that we inherited a government that saw what of the different institutions almost destroyed. Yeah. Let me use, for the lack of better word, system, no system. You have to come and sit. The examples are all here. I don't have to go Monrovia. All here in our different institutions. See, just 1 year, what has happened, and our budget is gradually growing. From 778 and 738 to almost 880 million. Our GDP has grown. The economists can tell you it's not we that are assessing as a government. These are international organizations that are close with the authority to assess country GDP, your inflation rate, and this. So it's not manufacturing anything here. In the first year of this government, everything has improved economically. But the question is that trickling down to the ordinary people? That's what we have to work on as a government. Provide job opportunity, and, ensuring that investors come in, and invest in the country. And investors will come when the rule of law, when you have accountability at the peak of every government sector, because that's the only thing that will encourage investors to come. And we are doing all of that to ensuring that we attract the international.
Bon County Senator Prince Moyida speaking. President Joseph Walker contributes lack of corporate from Western cultures on its social corporate responsibility to bogus agreements signed by past government. Alisi, newly appointed interim managing director, promises to end prolonged power outage. Thomas Gonkowen says revenue protection remains his key focus. University of Liberia President Dr. Laili Mapayan outlined first 100 days plans vows institutional reforms and improvements. Away from Liberia, the Austrian Foreign Ministry says a female citizen has been taken by unknown assailants in the Mediterranean West African country Niger. That was a look at today's top stories. If you are just joining us, you are listening to K Newsline, 45 minutes of news, views and analysis on Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global community. Let's now bring you more developments. Bomi County Senator Alex Tyler has disclosed plans of the Western Region Legislative Caucus to prevail on concession companies in the Western Region to address critical issues affecting citizens of Grand Kipman, Bomi, and Bapolu counties. According to him, these concerns, when addressed, will foster development and help improve living conditions of citizens living in the Western region. Bomi County Senator noted that lawmakers in the region will begin taking steps to address the concerns of citizens while they lobby with the executive branch of government to implement key national development under the arrest agenda.
Gone are days when we were still allowed the executive to do everything. After weekend, and pretty soon we'll be asking our brothers and sisters to go back. We have formed ourselves into the Western region that is the focus, not just for the sake of economy, but great development of our region. To put our legal resources together, all the consultants here to have this only take on and capital countries to address three key issues. We know we have a lot of challenges. We're able to identify three individuals and those we identify as part of the rest. For me, true for me, are the educational sector. We have a bill to put the Senate to upgrade for me community college to improve like as the medical center. They have the hospital already built there. We intend to direct the resources to capital to prepare for those programs to set up there. And finally, we selected Kear as the place of tourism. We have said we will say that after what is our contribution. As a region, and will be coming in very strong. I will begin a permanent government.
Meanwhile, the Bombing County Senator reminded President Walker of his 2023 campaign promises to connect major roads for the people selling Mecca district in Bombing County.
So again, reminded me about a year ago, we have the crowd getting negative for the summer to put up. And we're there at the 11 o'clock. And we have to come back to the block and talk with her. And we said that before swearing and only that the president will come back. So that's what let me remind you of the promise we made to before swearing and only that there are rules to be looked after. I know you are very passionate about it. Let me not disclose what we say from it, but I know you are very passionate about it. You have made significant effort in that direction. All of us is full of the Western region, not just for me, but also equipment as well. To pray for the president to consider his strength, because he has a good
Bombing County Senator Alex Tyler there speaking. The Registrar of the West African Examination Council in Liberia urging University of Liberia newly president Dr. Lady Mapayan to adopt a listening leadership approach, particularly in moments of confusion and decision making. Speaking in an interview with this station during the weekend, Daily Ekwoto advised Dr. Lady Mapayan to avoid hasty decision making and to ensure that all are involved during decision making process.
But she should be someone who has a listening ear. She shouldn't just take listen to she should take I think what almost everybody should be able to do what she so I guess encourage her to work with all of it. Get together, draw them around the table, and then issues we have to open up around. If you listen to her, I think we need to give her the chance to give her the opportunity to give her prospects, especially when you look at it from the perspective of raising additional revenue support from one side of the nature of revenue based on the youth.
The voice of Dele Goto there. The Agricultural and Industrial Training Bureau has unveiled plans aimed at reviewing the curriculum of agriculture and vocational training institutions in order to standardize agriculture and vocational education in the country. The Director General of the Bureau, Abraham Belli, disclosed that this plan are intended to put the curriculum of agriculture and vocational institutions on equal standards with institutions of the West African region and erode public distrust in graduates of agricultural and vocational institutions.
Let me begin it this year. So the TVET sector, you have a lot of different TVET institutions that are involved in, which is good. However, what we have communicated with some of them actually has been that it is good to move into the capacity building area, but there are minimal requirements. If we should be competitive to that of our regional partners, there are minimal requirements that the government has set. So the TVET institutions should be in compliance with those minimal requirements. So this year that is going to be key on our agenda. The second part we are moving more into this year is to work with the different partners to review the existing TVET curriculum. So there are a number of curricula across the country. Different donor projects have developed curriculum for different training institutions. Some of the training institutions also have developed their own curriculum. Majority of them don't have curriculum. They only have guidelines that support their training programs. What we are currently working on is to collaborate with our colleagues in government, the private sector, and the development partners to ensure that all of the PVL curriculum that are existing are brought on the table for revision and then for standardization. That the curriculum that is existing, for example, if a particular project has developed curriculum on say electricity and the private sector institution also develop curriculum on electricity. You tend to bring all of them, all of the different curriculum on the table.
The Agricultural and Industrial Training Bureau Director Abraham Belli, there speaking, Monserrato County District 2 representative has presented his legislative report covering his activities in the first session of the National Legislature, highlighting scholarships for students, humanitarian assistance, and projects in the district. Delivering his legislative report at the MVTC Conference Hall during the weekend, Representative Sekou Kane disclosed that due to his lobbying efforts, the national legislature has made an allotment for the completion of a public school in the district.
Today, I'm pleased to inform State Government of District 2 that we have lobbied through the national program of funds in making sure that the public school is completed for our people. As a result of our lobbying power, it is important that I report to you that the initial funds have been secured and the construction team is 100% to embark on the construction of the school project. I'm told that the contractor is mobilizing his men to start the public school in the shortest possible time. Hopefully, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We are pleased to report that for this academic year, 2024-2025, we found it helpful to provide the amount of 5,347,590 Nigerian dollars for 356 students in education. We are pleased to report to you that in addition to our state curriculum responsibility, being cognizant of the many social and economic constraints, we have carried out several social responsibilities during the period.
Monserrato County District 2 Representative Sekou Kane there speaking. The young entrepreneur and CEO of the most famous brand Too Easy, Abubakar Jalloh, has emphasized the importance for Liberians to build confidence in fashion design, regardless of age or personal style. Speaking on Kear on our sister program, the chat room over the weekend, Abubakar Jalloh encouraged young people aspiring to join the fashion industry to remain steadfast. He also urged fashion designers struggling to climb the ladders to consider collaboration, something he said has helped his brand to grow.
It's challenging, and no matter the place I don't know. But at the same time, it's depends how you apply. So I always believe in having fun while I work. So I mean, they're taking a look at time. I always look at this. So just figuring out every day what to be done right, what is not right, how can we get better at it. So it's challenging, but I think that's fun. Yeah, especially you know, for every successful stuff or anything I already kind of played like, but it's starting as fun. This regular fun now. Like me and people having fun. And so that's something very funny. And then other marketing or let's say community and stuff. But me personally, like, I have a really rocky life. And you know, but at the same time, I always kept it positive. I always believe that I will not have to and always make it, whatever happens. I just knew I could do something on myself. I just knew I always had that pressure to get certain things done. So the idea of 2 weeks is just about how it can stay positive. And honestly, if you look in our generation, maybe a contractor, we pin ourselves on, or we pin ourselves on negative stuff about the positive things. So we just thought 2 weeks to serve as a become more positivity for our generation, the people that work for us, the next generation, other stuff. And I think a lot of people are bought into that idea. There are some that are bought into it because it's trendy. There are some that are bought into it because they just like too easy. But the overall concept of too easy is people who believe that life is not like a life very easy.
The young entrepreneur and CEO of the most famous brand Too Easy, Abubakar Jalloh, widely known as Jack the Realist, there speaking. The newly appointed interim managing director of the Liberian Electricity Corporation has promised to end prolonged power outage in Liberia and ensure no community will experience power failure exceeding 8 hours. Thomas Gonkowen outlined plans to combat power theft, improve energy supply, and implement key infrastructure projects.
Because most part-time and the aim of protecting and optimizing key critical operational issues of the government. One, the governance and financial process. This component focuses on strengthening the operational financial management system, refining business workflow, reinforcing governance structure, and ensuring transparency and accountability and operational efficiency. To strengthen the corporation governance, the interim management team has
Thomas Gonkawon, the newly appointed interim managing director of the LEC. This development is taking us home, but before we go, we bring you a recap of the headlines. President Joseph Walker attributes lack of cooperation from Western Coastal on its social corporate responsibility to bogus agreements signed by past governments. Alisi, newly appointed interim managing director, promises to end prolonged power outage. Thomas Gonkowen says revenue protection remains his key focus. University of Liberia President Dr. Laili Mapayan outlined first 100 days plans, those institutional reforms and improvements. And away from Liberia, the Austrian Foreign Ministry says a female citizen has been taken by the unknown assailant in the military reform West African country Niger. That's how we draw down our curtains on today's edition of the Care News Line. Thanks to James Walkwell, who sat at control and produced this edition of the program. Sam Mobile brought us the visual. My name is Mariama Jalloh. On behalf of the entire news team here, I presented Good Morning. Okay. Hey, present that visual.